Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Dorian, and you're listening to Highway to Scale. It's a podcast in which we explore the ins and outs of business success and where we cover topics like validating business ideas, exploring different management styles, building products, launching them on the market, raising capital, and scaling your business. Now, before we get to the main part, please consider subscribing and get in touch with me if you want to be a guest on the show. In today's episode, I'm joined by Guillermo, who is the CEO of Meep. It's an application that integrates all modes of transportation in cities, and it provides you with one seamless, stress-free urban mobility experience. The company was launched in 2017. It was chosen by South Summit 2018 as one of the 10 most relevant startups in mobility, and it was then selected by Smart Open Lisbon to launch a pilot in the city in November of 2018. Today, Meep's mobility as a service solutions are available across 9 cities in 4 countries. As for Guillermo, before founding Meep and taking a role in the mobility sector, he spent a large part of his career directing sales in 22 countries. And now, as a CEO of Meep, he focuses on bringing several, at times competing entities within a city together to create a smart, reliable, and user-centric mobility ecosystem. In this podcast, Guillermo will tell us about the potential of mobility as a service, the value of smart money, and the importance of having a strong vision when it comes to long-term business success. So let's cut the intro and let's jump right into the episode to see what Guillermo can teach us about building a business. Guillermo, it's so great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Hi, Dorian. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Can you tell me more about Meep? How did it all start?
Sure. Well, in Meep, we started 4 years ago, and basically we have realized that all the challenges and problems that we are facing in our cities and the people that we live in urban areas. And basically, we were determined to change that reality and create a more efficient transport system. Nowadays, we believe that our current network is inefficient, it's unreliable. That's why we spend a lot of time in traffic. And also, most of the modes, doesn't matter if they are new mobility solutions or old ones, are disconnected. So people are struggling, spending a lot of hours stuck in traffic, and we really want to change that. That's our main value proposition.
Yeah. So what makes your application better than some other competitors?
Well, it's true that there are many solutions out there trying to make easier the commute experience, and also trying to connect several mobility options. But we have created a mobility as a service software that truly works. That means that users can plan, book, and pay without leaving the app. So I think that's extremely convenient and useful. And also, on the other hand, we managed to integrate ticketing solution for public transportation. And now in the cities that we are operating, a user can jump on a bus and finish their commute on a bicycle or a nearby kick scooter. So I believe that we are providing a multimodal solution that is more connected to our reality nowadays.
By connecting various different kinds of transportation devices, as a user, I don't need to buy a ticket for bus, ticket for the scooter, ticket for let's say an Uber. I can all do it through your application.
That's correct. Everything is unified and connected in one platform.
So, can you walk me through the history of Meep? What were some of the major milestones of your company?
Yes. Well, we started in 2017, late 2017, when mobility as a service was kind of a theoretical paradigm. It wasn't like anything was basically based on hypothesis, and the cities were back in the days really going really fast, deploying new modes of transport. I call the sharing options, and new electric mobility was basically launching. And back then we gathered a group of friends and we created the first journey planner. In the very beginning, even though we really want to achieve the full connectivity, the full integration phase, we only managed by 2018 to launch a kind of a complex journey planner with 5 modes of transport in the city of Lisbon, due to an award that we won in a municipalities incubator. That was our, I think, one of the biggest achievement, like launching the MVP. It's true that we didn't have full payment options that are key for a mobility as a service platform, but we were developing back then in 2018, and in the beginning of 2019 we started doing some tests in Malta, in the island of Malta, with full integration, some modes of transport where the users were able to pay and book their trips. I think that was another big milestone, achieving first fully mass solution for the country of Malta. And since then, we have launched in 8 cities. We have created the first fully mobility as a service deployment in the city of Zaragoza, which is the 4th largest city in Spain, with 80% of the public and private transport offer in the city fully integrated. That means besides private cars, everyone that was landing or arriving at Zaragoza was able to move around with a single tool. So that was a big step for us, and that was this year. So in these 4 years, we have expanded our deployments, our cities, and basically we've been working hard to integrate as many operators as possible inside the app.
So how many users do you now have?
Well, we have several apps on the market, so that's kind of tricky. Some of them are owned by some public operators, mostly big bus companies. But we are around 500,000 users in all of our deployments. So it's now a technology that is been like has a lot of still a lot of way to go. But nowadays our active users, which are mostly early adopters, young people, they really like this concept of bundling transport options.
So can you tell me, how does your company make money? What are some of the main ways of you gaining revenue?
Well, this is a tricky question because now, as you can imagine, it's a business model that is work in progress. It's something that we are figuring out. It's true that nowadays, transport industry, we can see in the big players, big names like Uber, Via, or other big players, their profitability is under question. And
Yeah.
we are also testing a new way of consuming transportation. So from our side, we have raised some money from investors. So this is one of our main points or sources of financing. But we also have all our projects that are B2B, mostly agency branded solutions. We charge as software as a service, as a license fee. So this is our main revenue source.
So now that you mentioned, raising outside capital, can you walk me through that process? What kind of an investor were you looking to attract?
Well, this is a very big part of my job, so I can tell you that is also a tough question. The second really tough question I think it depends a lot on the type of project that you have, the industry that you're operating. From our perspective, we are looking always for what is called, it's true that it's a kind of a buzzword, the smart money concept. But for us, smart means investors with access to new operations, new operators, municipalities. So we value a lot the investors that are more vertical. That means that are specialized on transportation. I think our product is something that needs also to evolve with the spirit of the times. How the cities are evolving. We will evolve with them. And now, after 3 finance rounds that we have experienced, we are looking for international investors that could open us new markets. So I would say, besides money, the cultural fit and the industry fit will be the two main key aspects.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to your company and your position as a CEO, can you tell me what are you currently focused on the most besides raising funds? Are you involved in operational day-to-day tasks?
Well, I think, like I would say, in the past 3 years, I've been really focused on the operational side, on the product market fit side. Nowadays, I'm kind of moving, or let's say evolving, to a more strategic and more finance and management side of the business. I would say like 30% of my time would be involved in finance, as I mentioned, and besides that, the rest, coordinating the team is key. Is one of my daily tasks that consume a lot of time. Making sure that everyone is on the same path, that we are rowing in the same direction. And I would say the rest, I review and supervise most of the key connections with main stakeholders. I would say clients, suppliers. I'm always the last phase. The first one for the problems, and also the one that has to do all the big presentations, I would say.
Yeah. So how did you structure your core team?
Yes, we have most of my team is focused on development. So I would say 80% of our team are mobile developers or backend developers. Those type of jobs are the main ones. But basically, we have a strong data team, a strong IT team, which has more than developers. They have designers, they have product owners that are also a key figure in all the development flow and the deliveries, and the, I would say, the business side, that is mostly sales, finance, HR, and marketing. Kind of the main departments.
What are some of the main activities you use to get to new users? Is it basically mostly based on sales, or is the marketing stronger in this part?
Well, in that part, I would say that communication and marketing are the strong catalyst to get new users. In a more traditional way, we want our users to recommend our tool, all of our solutions to new users. That would be the best case scenario. But well, we also use ad campaigns. Ad campaigns play an important role in our acquisition strategy, and also we leverage the most of the times public transport power and reach to reach new users. So if we deploy our solution in a new city, the main channel will be the bus operator, the metro, all of these big players that they have a strong base of users.
Yeah, so you're basically building strong partnerships with those providers, so they'll actually promote your company and your application.
That's correct.
Okay, you said that you started your company in 2017. Now with today's experience, what would you say would be some of the things that you maybe did wrong and you would change if you could go back to 2017 and start over?
Well, that's the I would say it's always like, I would say that I won't change anything, but no, that's not true. I think I invested too early on commercial campaigns, when the product, well, in the very beginning, I don't think the product was 100% ready. It's true that you never know when you're ready to start doing all the ad campaigns, but I think that was the thing I regret most, like not knowing how to wait for the right moment. I know that it's tough, but I would say postpone a little bit my marketing efforts in the very beginning. And the second one, I would say not getting an HR person before. HR processes consume a lot of time, and a lot of valuable time, and also it's tough to follow them, to get it right in the very beginning when you are not a specialist. So you're trying of doing kind of an amateur HR process, and that has a lot of consequences. In the past. So nowadays, well, we hired 2 people. Now there are 2 people in the HR team, but well, it took us quite a long time to hire the first person. So I would say this with the marketing efforts, the 2 main things that I would change if I had to go back.
Okay, those are great insights. I want to talk a little bit more about your industry, about mobility as a whole. Can you tell me more about the current state of it? What are some of the trends that are affecting it now?
Sure. Mobility, I think, like other industries that were kind of a monopoly, or they were part of the public sphere of the governments, are the ones that I think they have the more potential in a way, because I think there's a lot of things to be done, and nowadays we can see that there are a lot of things going on in the industry. There is like a big trend that the Americans call CASE, connected, autonomous, sustainable, and share. Like the S for two meanings, and electric. Those are four, let's say, trends that are going in the industry with a lot of power, and they're changing a lot of things. And for us, if you live in a city like I do, you're seeing like new different modes, different businesses around a central idea of moving people from A to B. Most of the times is focused on the commuting, but we also move around the city for from different reasons. When you go out with friends or when you are on vacation. So this idea of being sustainable, creating new modes of transport, using the modes that we had in a more efficient way, I think are the big trends in mobility. So from there, I think there are different levels of speed. There are some trends that are easier to implement, like for example, electrification or connectivity. But it's true that each trend or type of innovation has like 1,000 different ideas. Connectivity, you can connect from infrastructure to vehicle to the connectivity that we have nowadays with our smartphones. So it's tricky. I would say that that we can have like another whole interview talking about this, but from our perspective, the most interesting part is the connectivity, which I think it has a very wide range of new realities that we haven't had time to explore. Share, because I think sharing the different modes of transport is key for a sustainable future. And autonomous, I would say that is the moonshot. Is very is a project in the long run. The other day I was listening to another podcast that they were talking about autonomous vehicles as a reality for 2050. So it's something that is quite a long time, but I think it will change a lot the structure and the way that how we move around cities.
Can you tell me what are some of the biggest problems when you want to grow into a new market, when you want to add a new city to your network?
Well, in our case, that is very, very specific. I would say that it's a niche inside the mobility industry. We are facing a big challenge, that is the duality of speeds. You have the public speed, which is kind of slow, it takes time, has like a very protective law. And you have the innovative speed or the commercial speed, let's say, which is you have a commitment to your board, to your investors. You have to deliver value as soon as possible, and time flies. So this is a big challenge. I think in our industry, from our perspective, is a big one. And another big challenge, I would say, is in commercial mentality of the transport industry. We've been, I think, since the early last cycle, that most of the people match or have the idea that car means freedom. So we're working in a car-centric mentality. And overcoming this type of mentality is a big challenge also. So we are promoting sustainable mobility, sustainable future for our cities and urban areas, and that future that we are envisioning is not part of this car-centric mentality. So overcoming that gap is also a big challenge for us.
How can solutions like Meep help overcome that gap?
Well, we are strong believers that if we increase accessibility to all modes of transport that are actually underused in cities or idle, they are like park on a street or like on a bicycle station. So if we increase accessibility and we create a better UX experience to validate ticketing, combining different modes of payment into a single tool, we believe that the people will tend to use more those available resources. On top of that, we have seen in some of our deployments that if you create a loyalty program or give people discounts and options of combining different modes, the people are willing to use them instead of their own vehicles, their own cars, their own motorcycles. So we believe that our platform can increase that overall use of the transportation resources available in the cities.
We're almost done with the interview. So can you tell me what would be your advice for new startup owners who are just looking to launch their products or their applications on the market? What would be some of the things they need to think about?
Well, this is an interesting question. From my experience, and well, I am a mentor of several new startups from like some people that I know in the industry and so on. I'm always like telling the new entrepreneurs the same thing. They had to do a big research on the industry that they're about to disrupt, and on top of that, they have to have a clear idea of their vision, not the product that are selling. Because the market will tell you what is the product that you will offer.
That is true.
No, so the market has the power of shaping your product and put your business plan upside down, but your vision has to remain the same somehow. If my vision is to have a better urban life with a more sustainable mobility ecosystem, this is something that cannot change. I can change the way I offer my product, the way I market my idea, but the vision has to stay at least as pure as the first day. So that's I would say research and clear vision.
Okay, great, Guillermo. What can we expect from you and your company in the next couple of years? What do you plan to do? Where do you plan to expand?
Well, we have a lot of projects nowadays. We have partnered with the biggest airport operator in Spain. They have more than 44 airport. They manage all the infrastructure, organization, and all the work around airports. And basically, we want to change the airports and creating a new mobility hub that connects the international and long distance travel with urban transportation. This is our big project that will be out at the end of September in the city of Barcelona. That is a very well-known city for their sustainable approach and their vision. And also we have some big projects in Spain. We'll launch in a city near Madrid. It will cover also Madrid. So we'll be in the two main cities of Spain. We have some projects in Mexico. So there are a lot of things going on, mostly around the idea of deploying mobility as a service solutions for everyone and connecting new modes of transport that were underused.
Yeah, that's great. That really sounds great. Guillermo, thank you so much for joining me in this episode of Highway to Scale and for sharing all of these great insights, not just about mobility, but also about building a business.
Thank you, Dorian, for having us. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
And we are done. If you stuck with us until the end, here are a few key takeaways from this episode that I want you to remember. Number 1, don't underestimate the value of human resources. Getting an HR specialist early is a great investment, not only because HR processes consume a lot of your time, but also because a good HR can speed up your long-term growth by helping you build a strong core team. Number 2, when it comes to raising outside capital, you want to attract smart money. This means investors with access to new operations and new markets. Investors who can help you and your company evolve. And number 3, a strong, clear company vision is crucial for long-term business success. The market will shape your product. It may pull your business plan upside down. It can even change the way you market your idea. But through all of this, your vision needs to stay unchanged as much as possible. Now, before you sign off, don't forget to subscribe so you get notified when we publish new episodes. And leave us a review if you enjoyed this podcast and learned something new. It'll be highly appreciated. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show, shoot me an email or hit me up on LinkedIn. My contact info is down in the description. And that's it. I'm Dorian. You've been listening to Highway to Scale, and I'll see you all in the next episode.